Hello guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video we are gonna see, what if Naruto got harem with Ayame, and Temari? Part 2. If you want more awesome fan fiction like this, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So without wasting any time, let's get into the video. Everyone was awake and downstairs, well, everyone but Naruto. Where's Naruto? Asked Kurenai. Probably upstairs beating his meat, said Kiba. Now why would he need to do that when he could use it to satisfy me for hours? Said Hana, smiling from ear to ear. Tsunami had just walked in and heard what the brunette had said while blushed. Hinata was red, she couldn't believe her sister would say that in public. Well, Kiba was knocked out with a nosebleed. He's still sleeping, I'll go get him, said Tsunami as she got up. No, let him sleep a little more, said Annika. Tsunami nodded and sat down to finish eating. After another 20 minutes, Hana walked upstairs and shook Naruto into semi-consciousness. It is time to get up, she whispered into his ear. He opened his eyes and stared at Hana for a second, then smiled. He grabbed her and fell on the bed, pinning her under him. 10 more minutes, he said as he tickled her sides, making her laugh and squeal, something he had never heard her do. Han-chan, I'd like to thank you for saving me from Kakashi yesterday, as he hug and kiss her on her cheek. No problem, Nar-kun, but why don't tell the Hokage about this, Hana said while blushing. He will never believe, beside I want to deal with him myself, as they spend the next 10 minutes in each other embrace. Downstairs. The rest of Team 7 and 8 was waiting after everybody had breakfast. Kakashi told them that they would be doing tree walking exercise. Naruto let out a yawn, toning out everyone else. This is boring. I could do this stuff while sleeping, yawning again. He hears Kurenai clearing her throat. Naruto, I understand this is boring, but you must learn proper chakra control. I understand everything, Rinai-chan. But this is still boring, yawning. Kakashi rolls his eye. Typical Naruto thinks he know everything. Know everything, just more than you, Naruto replied as he picks up a small boulder that is 4 times his size, then he put it down, then he crushes it with his fist. He then started walking towards the tree. Everybody watches him walk up the tree on his right and left index finger tip straight. Everybody was amazed except the boys. You could see the vein popping out of Kakashi's skull. Well, Kiba and Sasuke mumbled, show off. See, Kurenai, I told you my Naruto-kun can do anything, Hana said. He's not yours, Hana shouted Annika as they glare at each other. So Naruto-kun, how did you learn to control your chakra like that, Kurenai asked. Tsunade-chan made sure my chakra control was vary for any situations. Kurenai turning to Naruto, any tips seeing how well his control is, but more importantly, how did he get it to be that way? Sure. As Naruto and Kurenai talked, the rest of the team did the exercise. Annika, seeing that Sasuke was having trouble, decided to help him. Hey bro, how I help you, said Annika. I don't help from weakling, Sasuke said coldly. Annika flinch. But Sasuke, I not weak, I am already a chunin. Ha ha ha, don't make me laugh, you have even awakened your Sharingan, you just like mother, only Uchiha by name, Sasuke yelled. But you still haven't awakened yours yet, said Annika. That what you think, as he flashes his Sharingan, surprising everyone. When we met Zabuza, so you see my dear sister, you are weak if you can't activate the Sharingan, you are not my sister, Makoto is not my mother. As tears came to Annika's eyes, then she ran away. Suddenly Naruto was in front of Sasuke, and his fist hit Sasuke in the face, sent him fly into the trees. How could you say that to your own sister and mother, yelled Naruto. Kakashi appeared before Sasuke and said, Sasuke doesn't have to answer you, brat. When we get back to the village, I am going to report you to the Hokage. Whatever Naruto said is vanish. But Annika was crying when Naruto appeared. She walked to him and threw herself at him as she cried in his chest. Naruto did not know what to do to stop her from crying, so he just held her until Hana and the other girl came to help, then he begun to walk away. Naruto, called Kurenai and Hana. Getting his attention, he stopped, then both of them hug him and whisper thank you in his ears. This was why they loved him, kind, caring and loving when he was with them, but cold and brutal when defending them. 3 hours later. Naruto and the rest of the females walked back to Tezuna's house for lunch. Turning back to them, he noticed they're all exhausted but smiling. When they got to Tezuna's house, everyone looked at Naruto and the rest of the females. Where were you guys and why were guys so tired, asked Kakashi. We got lost on the road of life, said Naruto as he walked past him and went into the house. As well was laughing at Kakashi as Naruto pulled a Kakashi on Kakashi. 1 week later. A young woman was picking herb in the forest when he saw a young redhead was sleeping in the forest. She recognized as the guy that was fighter master and was about to kill him when the redhead opened his eyes. Naruto POV. After a long night of training, a young redhead was sleeping when he heard a sound and got up. He saw a young girl in a pink sleeveless yukata with a smile on her face. Normal POV. Did you wake me up, the girl said. No. So why were sleeping in the forest, you could catch a cold. Just training, by the way. What are you doing here? Naruto asked the smiling girl. I'm picking herbs that can cure injuries and illnesses, the young girl said. But doing a tedious job so early in the morning? Naruto questioned her. What are you training? Haku said, trying to avert the subject so as not to be caught. I am training to fight a guy named Zabuza and to help out your country. Haku was mentally taken aback by his words, but he knew all too well that this young man was one of those shinobi who fought Zabuza that week ago and almost killed him. Haku then had a downcast look in his eyes as he averted his gaze from the young man looking around and saw the damages the man did. Why are you pushing so hard? There is no need to go so far. Is there someone worth risking for all of this? The young man nodded as. I have a lot of precious people to protect, so yes, there is someone worth risking my life for. That's what I believe also, the girl replied. So do you have a precious person, Naruto asked. Yes I do, he saved me so I vow to protect him. And told her story, and you already the story it is too troublesome to write. As the story Naruto was angry, he couldn't believe Sam had go through something similar to him. Then the young woman got up and took his basket in hand. The Naruto then stood up and said, by the way, I'm Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto. The young woman stopped for a while and turned around as he gave a genuine smile and said, my name is Haku. It was pleasant to meet you, Naruto, even if it will only be a short while. By the way, I'm a guy. With that, the young man turned on his heel and walked away. The young man closed his eyes as he mentally, we could have been the best of friends if the situation was different. The next morning. Alright let's go to the bridge, said Kakashi. What about Naruto-kun? He's still sleeping, replied Anika. Just leaving him, he'll catch up when he awakes, Kakashi said. None of the girls wanted to leave Naruto long, but they knew they had a job to do. At the bridge. Azuna screamed as he saw the many injured construction workers lying around the bridge. The team began to take their precautions as planned. Kiba, Akamaru took to the back with Sasuke as Sakura, Shino and Hinata protected Tazuna's front and back, while Anika and Hana ran to the injured men, along with Kurenai and Kakashi. The crimson-eyed Jounin checked their pulses and nodded, causing the team to sigh in relief until they saw their former enemy across them with the fake hunter nin and 4 more missing nins. Sorry to keep you waiting, Kakashi and Naruto. Hey, where's Naruto? We get him the day off, we won't be need him, said Kakashi. Ha ha ha, whatever, looks like you got back up. Luckily I brought some friends of mine along with me. Zabuza said as he moved his right arm to check its flexibility before gazing back his murderous eyes at the tense joint team that took on the defensive. Zabuza smiled as he said, he's shaking again. How pitiful. In fact, they're all shaking. Zabuza was right. The Genins were still shaking in nervousness as they never faced a battle this intense in their entire life, as the air just choked their confidence and wits, despite how hard they struggled to fight it from engulfing them in their own fears. Sasuke on the other hand was shaking for a different reason. He smiled smugly as he said, I'm shaking in excitement. Suddenly 10 Mizubunshin surrounded the team until Sasuke and Anika quickly dispatched them of. His swift attacks caused them to revert back into water. Show off. Kiba said as Akamaru barked in agreement. They are as fast as you and Aoi. Zabuza said to his younger companion. Yes, it seems like it. The masked boy said as he beepized the situation. Not fast enough, I am faster, said Aoi. This was it. The battle that they've been preparing for as the ex-Miss Nins began the assault. Tazuna's house. Meanwhile, back at Tazuna's house, Tsunami was busy cleaning the house as she began her chores for the day. Inari, come and help me in the kitchen. Tsunami hollered out to the boy. Hate. Inari said as he moved towards the kitchen. As they peacefully ran through their chores without a care in the world, 2 men waited outside with swords strapped to their side. One man wore a blue hood-down jacket, brown shorts and jettas, a dirty white sash around his waist, and a navy blue snowcap over his neck-length silver hair. The other man wore jettas as well. He also wore big grey pants with white zigzags on it and a jacket tied to his waist for his sword to be tied to. He wore no shirt to reveal his semi-muscular physique and the number of tattoos on his body with his stomach and bandages, as he also wore an eye patch over his right eye and he had 3 small ponytails in reminiscence of the old samurai hairstyle. It would appear that he was a Ronin with a huge stitch over his forehead and hair growing from the spaces where it would normally have been shaved if he were a samurai, as his beard pointed to the ground. An evil smirk formed on their faces as they began unsheathing their swords. The muscular Ronin then sliced the door open, surprising Tsunami, in fear of the 2 men at the door, who entered as unwanted guests of the house. So you're Tazuna's daughter. I'm sorry, but you're coming with us. The snow-capped Ronin said. As Inari had just finished washing his hands, he heard his mother scream in terror as the 2 Ronins began roughing her up. Inari ran as fast as he could to the kitchen and saw his mother prone on the floor. Aka-san. Inari cried, causing the 3 other people in the room to turn their heads to see the young boy. Tsunami began sweating in fear that her son was foolishly entering the scene of danger. Fearing for the boy's life, the mother cried, Inari, don't come here. Run. What do you want, kid? Should we take him too? The muscular Ronin said to his compatriot. We only need one hostage. The snow-capped Ronin replied. Inari shirked back in fright as the muscular man brought up his sword to slay poor little Inari. Tsunami was at a loss at what to do. She had no other choice as she said, wait. If you do anything to him, I'll bite my own tongue and die. You need a hostage, right? The two Ronin gazed at her in spite as the muscular man sheathed the gleaming blade. Thank your mom, Gaki. The snow-capped Ronin said to the young boy. Inari was helpless. He cried his little heart out and slumped where he stood as the two Ronins approached the self-sacrificing mother. The young boy felt darkness consume him as he thought, I feel so helpless. Aki-san is going to be taken away and I can't do anything about it just like Otu-san. Please. Anyone save my mom, anyone. Oji-san, Otu-san, Naruto, Nai-san. Anyone. Anybody please save us. Inari shouted out loud. His cries were not in vain as a kunai struck deep in the back of the head of the two Ronin and killed them. Tsunami and Inari were shocked at the gruesome display that took only 3 seconds to deliver at the leisure of their innocent eyes. The red water soiled the beautiful trench coat that Naruto was wearing. He then looked at Inari and said, good thing you screamed or I'll never have woken up. Inari was still too shaken up by what Naruto had just done. It took a good fist to his head for him to wake up from his stupor as Naruto said, hey, Inari, take care of your mother for me. I need to head back to the bridge to help them out. Gato's behind all of this so I need to protect Azuna. If anyone tries to harm your mom. The young blonde then handed the 2 swords of the dead Ronins to Inari and continued, you know what to do. As Naruto was about to leave, Tsunami called him. What is it, Tsunami-chan? I need to talk to you before you leave, could you follow me please? As they reached Tsunami room she dragged him in. Naruto, thank you for saving our life, how about I give a reward? Naruto looked at her as she came closer, swaying her hips slightly, relax, and let me treat you to something nice, Naruto-kun. She smiled sweetly at him, the smile making him smile too, since it had a lot of warmth within it. He looked at her and then saw her kneel, her hands moving towards his crotch. She looked at his pants and then began to unbutton them, him not resisting one bit as she slid them down, looking at his boxers, then he remembered his friends. Wait as he grabbed her hand, I have helped my friends at the bridge. You friend can take care of themselves, they very strong are they? You're right as he let go of her hand then he put up a silence barrage. She slides her hands down his boxers taking his too loud, then she began stroking him off. The redhead groaned as his beak began to harden, blood gushing towards it. Lemon scene happened. At the bridge. The joint team then grit themselves for battle as the 6 missing nins begun their assault. Aku ran towards the back and assaulted Sasuke, Kiba and Akamaru, with Zabuza charging Kakashi and locking him in place with the pressure of his Zanbato on Kakashi's kunai. Kurenai sprang into action to help when suddenly, one of the missing nins blocked her path. Annika tried to rush to Sasuke's aid until Aoi blocked her path and begun attacking her. Panda decided to help out Annika since he could see that Sasuke and Kiba was holding his own, while Shino, Sakura and Hinata decided to stay out of the fight and guard Tazuna as they begun the battle on the bridge. The other 2 missing nins left, charged them guarding Tazuna until they were kept in check by Shino, who sent a bug wall to help as he shifted his attention to the other 2 missing nins. Hinata, Sakura, please keep Tazuna safe and stay out of the fight unless we say otherwise. Without Naruto here, it will be a long battle. Shino said calmly as they begun to defend the life of Tazuna. Sasuke's fight. Aku begun spinning wildly as a partial cyclone formed around him until Sasuke and Kiba waited and blocked the senbon of Haku with the kunai in their hand. Oh? So they are able to catch up to his speed. Zabuza said as he quickly glanced at the deadlock of Sasuke, Kiba and Haku. You should pay more attention to your surroundings. Said the one-eyed Jounin as he intentionally fell back and landed on his hands, allowing Zabuza's full weight forward as he kicked the missing nin upwards. Zabuza timed his momentum in the air and flipped so that he landed back upon solid ground just a few feet away from Kakashi as the one-eyed Jounin charged with kunai in hand as he resumed the deadlock. But Sasuke and Kiba. Sasuke managed to break away from the deadlock with Haku as Kiba tried to attack him from behind with a kunai, but miss and Haku vanish. Then Sasuke attack again as the sounds of metal clashing rang through the condensed air as their blades constantly met until they stopped spinning and landed back where they started. Neither one gave way to the other as they struggled to push. Haku, being the normally kind and gentle soul he was, spoke to the young Uchiha with sadness in his heart. I don't want to kill you, but you won't back off, right? He said without losing his grip on the senbon. What are stupid, I am an elite, you can't kill me. Sasuke and Kiba said with all seriousness. Haku then replied confidently, as I thought, but you won't be able to keep up with me for my next move. And I'm already ahead of you. He's just bluffing. There's no way out since I got one of his hands full. Sasuke thought as he kept his cool. 2 steps ahead. The young Uchiha said sarcastically as he activates his Sharingan. The first one is the water on the ground. And the second one is that I'm keeping one of your arms busy. Therefore you can only take and block my attacks. Haku stated as he began creating seals with one hand, which caught the young Uchiha by surprise. Nani? He's creating seals with one hand. Sasuke thought as he witnessed abilities far beyond his capacity. Even Kakashi, who managed to glimpse the feat at the corner of his eyes, was surprised with the astounding ability as Haku then said, Hijutsu, Sensatsu Sushu. The masked boy then kicked the water upward, causing them to transform into senbons of ice that surrounded the young Uchiha ready to impale him. Sasuke, with his free hand, formed one-handed seal and then concentrated hard, then replaced himself with Kiba who got impaled with the senbons. Sakura was shocked. Hinata was furious. How dare he do that to a friend? Even Haku was shocked, never did he expect that someone would do that to his own teammate. How could you? Team Kiba said as he fell to the ground. Sasuke said nothing as he turned his attention back to Haku. Haku managed to back up in time to keep his distance for the next attack. The masked nin noticed it quickly and leaped back several times to evade the shuriken thrown by the raven-haired boy as he landed back down onto the ground to begin the next phase of attack. By the time Haku had stopped, Sasuke was already behind him ready to strike. You're pretty slow. Now you can only receive and block my attacks. Sasuke said with confidence. Both nins blurred out of the way as they resumed their assault. Haku once again got Sasuke within a deadlock as Sasuke blocked his senbon aimed at his right side with the kunai in his left hand and his right hand coiled back to his left shoulder. He then dexterously switched his grip on the kunai in his right hand and threw it at Haku, causing him to duck to avoid the kunai, allowing Sasuke to kick him in the face as Haku skidded a few feet away. Zabuza then kicked Kakashi out of the way just in time to see his prize tool beaten in his own strength. Haku was beaten in speed. Zabuza said as his eyes widened in amazement. Looks like my speed was better. Sasuke said as he ran towards Kiba to join his battle. Anika's fight. Aoi began by throwing a shuriken towards Anika, and Hana made hand seals as he said, Kage Shuriken no Jutsu. The shurikens then multiplied in number, but Anika evaded all, while Hana used rotation to deflect them, then Anika run through some of her own fire release. Great fireball as the fireball shoot at him. Kuzo. I hate bisses, they are so weak I don't even have to use my sword at them, said Aoi as he water release water wall as his attack cancel out hers. Is that all you got? That suddenly Hana appeared behind him. 8 trigrams 64 palms, she roared. 2 palms. 4 palms. 8 palms. 16 palms. 32 palm. 64 palms. As she finished sent Aoi into a tree, his body turned into a water clone. Hana then sent flying by a kick from Aoi. You almost caught me, you little bis. Then he run through some hand sign water release great shark bullet and shoot at Hana. Shino's fight. The two missing nins each threw a bottle into the ground and then made hand seals and both shouted, Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu. The water that spilled on the ground then rose and shaped themselves into clones of the nins that begun to form hand seals, and one shouted, Suitin, Sugaden. The clone of one reverted back into water and became pressurized drillheads of water that headed straight for Shino. The bug user then made a wall of bugs that halted most of the attack until an opening in the wall allowed the other Mizubunshin to charge straight through and grab Shino and explode like a suicide bomber of water. The nins were surprised that the fallen body of Shino suddenly degenerated into bugs that seeped into the cracks and crevices of the wooden planks of the bridge. Crafty little runt. Keep close. He's hiding somewhere. The nin said to his comrade as they created more Mizubunshins to surround and protect themselves until one of the nins spotted a shade in the mist and threw a kunai at it until it revealed itself to be bugs in Shino's shape. The kunai then dropped to the floor as the bug sank back into the floor. The clones then huddled closer to the nins as they protected their masters with their short lives. As they tensed in the mist, a different colored smoke appeared from underneath them. They saw the smoke and begun separating as they fell for Shino's trap. Several of Shino's bugs lay in wait in the crevices of the planks, and the moment the nins separated, the bugs begun latching onto them. The bugs began eating up the chakra of the clones and the originals, as the clones became the first to lose shape and return back to water. The nins attempted to use their bunshins to wash away the bugs, all to no avail as they hung on quite tightly. Why? How come they won't come off? The panicked nin said to his comrade. He then grabbed onto the ledge and couldn't remove his hand and realized what just happened to them as Shino revealed himself from the mist. Since when did you have time to get something like this? Did you foresee this? The nin said as he died on the spot. Shino said nothing, however his comrade wasn't ready to give up as he recklessly ran past Shino and charged to maim and kill the two Kunoichi and Tazuna. Shoot. I let him get past me. Shino thought as reached to grab his kunai only for the missing nin to be already within stabbing range as he drew his kunai and grabbed Sakura and threw her back at Shino to hamper his counterattack only to receive a sharp pain in his chest from a Juken strike by Hinata, killing the nin. Of Kakashi. Zabuza was amazed with what he saw from his point of view as he said, "These kids are pretty good to hold their own. I'm surprised." Kakashi then confidently said, "You can't make fun of our team just because we have children. Sasuke is Konohagakure's top rookie. Sakura is one of the village's smartest child." Zabuza then shook his head in embarrassment that his team was killed by genins. As you can see, Shino is an expert of stealth and strategy with the way he handled the fight. Hinata, as you've just witnessed, is of the Hyuga clan from her fighting style. She may be timid, but she's no pushover with the amount of determination she's shown so far. Kakashi said as he took to his stance once more. Zabuza looked at each one carefully and true enough, the genins were talented and capable. But as he thought about the genins, he then realized something. "You're missing one, the one that almost killed me," Zabuza pointed out. Kakashi then calmly explained, "That one, he is a nobody, just the village demon. A very strong nobody that could beat you," Zabuza replied. "Just shut up and fight." Kurenai's fight. Kurenai decided to focus on Taijutsu since her opponent was less skilled in Taijutsu than her. The nin then brought out a small hatchet and tried to even the odds as he swung it left and right until Kurenai grabbed that arm with her left hand and stabbed the kunai into it. The nin didn't flinch as he grabbed her by the neck with his free hand until she kicked him away. The nin then removed the kunai just in time to see the crimson-eyed jounin disappear into cherry blossoms. He then placed his hands into a familiar seal and said, "Kai." The gain jutsu failed as the nin then turned around and punched her deep in the gut as he brought out his kunai and stabbed her in the arm as he threw her back on the floor and began tearing up her clothing with his bare hands as he pinned her against her will. She was helpless and the nin smiled wildly as he said, "That wound is payback. But I'll be gentle this time. I'll take my time with you so that I can have my fun." The nin then began squeezing her frees until his hand suddenly sank deep into her body and Kurenai wrapped her legs around his waist. The nin panicked as she transformed into a cherry blossom tree that had him in its grasp as the branches formed around his body and held him upside down while half of Kurenai's body emerged from the top of the trunk as she said with kunai in hand, "This wound will be payback for you, perverted personality. But I'll be gentle this time. I'll take my time with you so that I can have my fun." The nin panicked as sweat poured from his face. She then plunged the kunai into his crotch without hesitation as the nin screamed in agony from the horrible wound that he received. She then twisted the blade which inflicted more pain as she then slit her torso along with the blade, allowing the kunai to split him in half until the genjutsu faded, leaving her crouching beside the now brain-dead nin from the suffering of shock as she fell to the ground. Zabuza and Kakashi, who were the only ones that was witnessing that battle, shuddered in fear as they both thought, "She's scary when she's serious. I'd better keep clear for now." Annika and Hana fight. Earth release giant earthwall as she blocks the shark. "You did forget about little old me, did you?" Annika said with a smile on her face. "No," she heard someone whisper in her ears as turn and punch sending her flying into the air and suddenly Aoi was up there, wait for even with an axe kick to the face, sending her back to the ground to form a Annika-sized crater, Dragon Ball Z style, as Hana rushed to check on her friend Aoi her off with a kick to the stomach, sending her 5 feet away. "Ah ha ha, weak bis, now where are you hiding the redhead, I want to kill him," he said. Suddenly both rushed at him, engaging him in a furious Taijutsu battle as dodged both of their attack with incredible speed and then he hit them both in stomach, then to the face sending them flying, then here on through some hand sign water release, great water dragon and giant dragon crash into both of them. As they lay there Aoi walk over to them. "That why hate this is all they are good for," is Vex as he walk over to Annika and started to rip of her pants as he took out his beat to enter her. With Kakashi. Zabuza then smirked. "Keep watch of your back, Kakashi. It's disgraceful," he said until the fallen form of Kakashi transformed into water. Then Zabuza created several water dragons. The one-eyed jounin couldn't get close with the water dragons rampaging the bridge. But Sasuke made a weak smile until several senbons lodged on his back. He turned his head to see nothing until he reflexively realized as he saw Haku's foot smash into his face, causing him to skid to the back. "Sasuke-kun." Sakura shouted as Hinata held Sakura back and said, "Sakura-san. Please focus or you may never live to see him again." Sakura looked over to Hinata and realized she was right. Her hands were trembling, saying that she was worried as well, but she knew better than to let her guard down. "It's a shame," Haku stated as he approached Sasuke. The raven-haired boy got up to his feet as he drew his twin kunes once more. He sharpened his gaze at the masked boy as he got into a fighting stance once more with an aura of cold air emanating from him. "That's cold air," Sasuke said as his eyes widened at what he saw. Haku began forming hand seals. As he molded his chakra, ice began forming behind and around the two as they formed into the shape of mirrors that began to surround them in a globe. The jutsu, Makyo Haishu. Sasuke was trapped in the half-globe formation of ice mirrors as Haku entered one and his reflection was seen on all the mirrors. "What is that technique?" Kakashi questioned. Zabuza laughed as he crossed his arms in confidence. "These are mirrors. What is he going to do?" Sasuke said as he found no opening to leap out from. Zabuza then blocked Kakashi from turning to save his student as he said, "I'm your opponent, remember? He's a goner now that Haku has used that technique." Haku then told the young Uchiha, "Let's begin. I will show you my true speed." The masked nin began throwing senbon after senbon as it grazed the young Uchiha left and right. Sasuke began screaming and grunting from the velocity and sharpness of the senbons that pierced the young Uchiha's skin. "But Hinata. Sasuke-kun." Sakura exclaimed as she saw her crush being slowly torn asunder by the needles that cut and pierced the raven-haired boy. Hinata then activated her Byakugan and scanned his body as she slowly took out the senbons from the both of them. "He paralyzed your nerves so you won't be able to fight for the duration of the day. That and also you were exhausted from the last fight." With Kakashi. Kakashi on the other hand was at a bind as Zabuza said to him, "If you move without thinking, I'll kill the three behind you and the rest of your team if they interfere." With Hinata. Sakura could not take it any longer as she mustered her courage and said to the old bridge builder and Hinata, "Tazuna-san, I'm sorry. I'm going to move from here for a minute. Hinata-chan, please look after them for a while." "Sure. Go." Tazuna said. Sakura then took out a kunai from her holster and leaped up into the air and threw it as she said, "Take this." The kunai then headed straight in between the mirrors. The pink-haired girl then thought, "Yosh. It will make it." While the kunai passed through the space, Haku did catch it in midair from one of the mirrors. Sakura was shocked as she exclaimed, "He caught it." Then Haku appeared behind her, smash her fist against the pink-haired girl knocking her out. Then Haku was about to go over to the bridge builder when he heard chirp birds and run towards Zabuza. Kakashi's fight. Kakashi stood in his ground as he heard Sakura screaming Sasuke's name. Zabuza smirked as he said, "It sounds like they're being beaten. It won't take long once Haku uses that technique. After all, he created that jutsu all by himself and I can't copy it." Kakashi sharpened his gaze as he replied, "A bloodline limit jutsu. So that explains it." As Kakashi racked his mind for a strategy to defeat Zabuza, he realized there was no other choice as he reached for his hit I-8 and said, "I'm sorry, but I'm going to finish this quickly." Zabuza smirked as he replied, "Sharingan-a. How unoriginal." The Zanbato-wielding nin then reached his left hand into his pocket and quickly dashed to Kakashi as he brought out a kunai in his left hand and lunged it to Kakashi's head as the one-eyed Jounin managed to catch his hand before it reached. However, he wasn't able to lift his hit I-8 because of the attack. Blood began to drip from his right hand that caught the blade on instinct as the red water made droplets on the floor. Kakashi wasn't afraid to get hurt. More so when Zabuza lunged like that at him. The confident bleeding Jounin looked Zabuza in the eye and said, "Even if you say it's unoriginal, are you still afraid of my Sharingan, Zabuza?" Zabuza countered that question by replying to him, "You're not supposed to show your master technique more than one time to another shinobi." Kakashi then replied, "Be thankful, you're the only one who gets to see this eye more than once. And there will not be a third time." Feeling still confident, Zabuza then said to him, "Even if you can beat me, you can't beat Haku. I've taught him fighting techniques since he was a little boy. I taught him everything I knew." And he proceeded to improve his own techniques. As a result, he was able to produce results in any difficult situation imaginable. He threw away his beliefs in a heart and a life. He is a fighting machine labeled as a shinobi. On top of that, his techniques surpass mine. He has that dreadful ability, the bloodline limit. I got myself an advanced tool. He's different from the scraps you carry." Zabuza then withdrew the kunai from Kakashi's bleeding hand as he backed away a few steps to get into position. "Even if scraps attack in numbers, they can't beat Haku. He is the best tool," Zabuza said with a smug grin underneath his bandaged mouth. Kakashi was not amused. The one-eyed Jounin then said, "There's nothing more boring than hearing someone brag. Let's begin." With that, he lifted his hit I-8 revealing his Sharingan eye. Zabuza smirked at his luck. His removal of his hit I-8 over his left eye. He listened well as Zabuza continued. "I've been eager to copy what you said. Let me tell you that the same technique won't work against me twice, was it?" The Zanbato-wielding nin said in mockery to Kakashi. Zabuza then made a hand seal and said his trademark jutsu, Kirigakure no Jutsu. Mist began to engulf the surroundings even further, causing Zabuza to disappear from sight. "What is this super thick fog? The visibility is almost down to zero." Tazuna said his visibility dropped drastically. Thinking on her feet, Hinata then said, "Tazuna-san, stick close to me. Zabuza is probably using this mist to conceal his movements. Even with the Byaku gone, I can't see him very well, so we need to be on guard." But Hana and Annika. As he was about to enter her, he felt a palm him into his chest as Hana follow up. "I will not let you rape my best friend. 8 trigrams 32 ball crusher," she roared. 2 balls. 4 balls. 8 balls. 16 balls. 32 balls. As she hit 32 times in his balls and beat destroy them, everybody across the bridge could hear the scream of Aoi, and every man throughout the elementary nation was holding their ball for no reason. As the scream died down, Aoi turned to her as her spit blood. And fell to the ground, then got up again bis and fell again dead. Author here: can anyone guess which movie I got that line from? Then Hana fell to ground out cold. But Kakashi. Kakashi kept calm as he thought, even if he concealed himself in this mist, the mist is too thick. Zabuza himself shouldn't be able to see anything either. A familiar whirring sound could be heard behind the white-haired jounin as it got louder and sharper. Thinking on his feet, he reflexively turned around and quickly deflected the shurikens that were tossed at him to hit him from behind. "You dodged that quite nicely. Just what I expected from Kakashi, the Sharingan user." Zabuza said to Kakashi from behind him with eyes shut as he concentrated his chakra with a hand seal. "He has his eyes closed," Kakashi thought as he saw the focused nin. "But when you see me next, that will be the end. You overestimate your Sharingan," Zabuza said as he concealed himself in the mist once more. "You talk as if you knew everything," Zabuza said as his voice continued to echo around Kakashi. Zabuza then continued his threat as he said, "Your prediction was incorrect. Kakashi, you cannot see through my mind or the future. Your Sharingan is just trickery that makes another think so. One who possesses the Sharingan has an eye of insight and an eye of hypnosis. Using those two abilities, you executed techniques one by one and acted like you knew the future. First you copied my movement right away using your eye of insight. This is the form manipulation step. You used that to disturb me, and once you confirmed that my mind was shaking, you pretended that you were me and decided what I was thinking. That was the mind manipulation step. Then after you confirmed I was severely disturbed, you set up a clever trap. You used your eye of hypnosis to show me an illusion, made me form seals first, then copied it. This is the technique manipulation step." Kakashi was marveled and panicked at the detailed beepases he made of the Sharingan, as Zabuza then said, "Since that is the case, the solution is easy. First I conceal myself in this heavy fog and render your eye of insight useless." Kakashi leaped out of the way just in time to avoid a deep sword wound from Zabuza. "Kuzo, I can't guard myself in time," Kakashi thought as he got back on his feet with his kunai drawn. "Then I close my eyes and kill the possibility that you will use your eye of hypnosis in close combat," Zabuza stated. "Why? That makes you blind too," Kakashi said, stating the obvious. "Have you forgotten? I am a master of silent killing. I can locate a target with just sound," Zabuza said, causing the white-haired jounin to pale in realization of how vulnerable his situation was. He fought with himself first in order to focus on finding a way to Zabuza. The white-haired jounin sighed as he thought, "Kuzo. It's been a long time since I had to fight in such a bad situation. I'm worried about Sasuke and Sakura, but focus, Kakashi. Be calm. Think. Where will he strike?" Like lightning, the answer flashed in his mind. Kakashi then took out a scroll from his front pocket and unraveled it as he laid it out on the floor and rubbed his thumb on his wound and then onto the scroll as he made hand seals and said, "Kuchius, Doten, Suga no Jutsu." He then placed his right hand upon the scroll and soon Zabuza cried in pain as the mist cleared, revealing his position in front of them, with several dogs biting down hard on him to keep him in place. "But how?" Zabuza questioned. "The answer is simple. My blood was on your sword. Those ninkin are trained to sniff out their target, in which case is my blood that also was on your sword. I really don't have to explain, but I will use my only original technique on you, so pay attention since it will be your last." Kakashi then blurred through many hand seals, which astonished both Zabuza and the rest of the team, including marveled at the speed he was performing the hand seals. The moment Kakashi finished the last hand seal, he then held his right hand close to his chest and supported it with his left as lightning began forming around his hand. "My only original jutsu. Rikiri," Kakashi said before charging at breakneck speed and thrusting his electrically charged hand into Zabuza's chest. Time seemed to stop for the team, as did Haku, who was able to see what was going to happen. He was helpless and could not reach there in time to help his mentor, except watch his untimely demise before the arm went through the man's chest. Haku's eyes widened as tears began to fall from them. Zabuza coughed out blood as the weight of the red water tore the bandages on his mouth. Zabuza felt another pang in his heart as he saw the sad expression on Haku's face. As he was about to say something, heard a laughing. "It seems like the demon has been defeated." Gato's Abusa said as he said Gato with hundred of men behind him. Haku looked at Gato coldly as he asked him, what is the meaning of this? We had a little change in plans. I'm glad that one of you is nearly I have less work to take care of. Gato said as he approached the down body of Zabuza and placed his foot on it. Haku's blood begun to boil as Gato gave him a good kick as he said, worthless piece of scum should die like the dogs they are. In the end, it's the master who gets the meat not the dog sent to fetch it. As the cruel man snickered and his mob of thugs laughed, Naruto suddenly appeared before them shocking them. Where have you been? Kakashi yelled at him, but Naruto did not answer him. You must be Gato said Naruto in a cold voice. So what if I am Brat? Naruto said nothing as he unsealed a sword that looks like Hawkeye from One Piece, but it is red blade instead of black. Gato ran away when saw the sword and said, don't come near me. What are you waiting for boys? Get him. Gato ran to the very back and felt safe and secure until Naruto went into a sword that only Zabuza know. Everybody get down Zabuza yelled. Kakashi then created some clone to pick up all his teammate that was knocked out. Back with Naruto. Naruto then lifted his sword up as it glowed red and said, for your cruelty against these people of Wave your punishment will be death, may Kami-sama have mercy on your soul. As Naruto swung his sword horizontally he said world's strongest clash. And great explosion rocked the bridge killing Gato and his men. As the smoke cleared Naruto was down to one knee, then Kakashi heard Zabuza said, so that did I finally see it. What is that Kakashi asked. That is the strongest attack a swordman can use only one has ever been able to use it until now he was number one. You mean Hawkeye, Kakashi said in a shocked voice Zabuza nodded his head. But how did Naruto learn such a strong move? Haha why don't you ask him yourself? I think I will as he walked towards Naruto. Kurenai, Hana and Annika woke to see the destruction around them was wondering what happened until they saw Naruto they rushed toward him cutting of Kakashi. But Zabuza. As Haku arrived with the last of his strength, the dying Nin then said, shinobi are tools of war and destruction. But before we are shinobi we are human first. We cannot completely change that fact. That smile on your face proves it as well as those tears from your eyes. I'm sorry I couldn't show you the right path in life. But please live. So you can find that path yourself. But that his eyes closed forever. The Nin died with a sad smile on his face as Haku stared into Zabuza's lifeless eyes. Hiba, Sasuke and Sakura awoke to hear what Zabuza had said. It was a sad moment as Kurenai then said to her team, what Zabuza said about shinobis are true. But what he said about us being human first is also true. This is the life we chose to live in. This is the life we will face every day where death is a part of our job. Hinata then went closer to Haku and stared at the corpse of the Nin as she said, he really cared about you despite how cold he was to you. He said. I know what he said. I read his lips. He was a cold man. But he also was a caring one even though he was a monster. He even got mad at me when I told him that I met Naruto in the forest and the offer he made me. But he also looked out for my welfare and cried at times. He wasn't perfect, but he was the closest family I ever had aside from my mother and father. And just like them he withered away. Naruto then placed his left hand on Haku's shoulder, and I am sorry. It's not your fault that just life. We may be free from Gato's tyranny, but we need to finish this bridge. Tazuna said to the team. Sorry about the bridge old man how about I help you rebuild it Naruto said. Tazuna smiled as he said, don't worry about it, guys are heroes of wave you need rest and relaxation as well as medical attention. We'll take the super jobs from here. Naruto exclaimed as the rest of the team sweat dropped. After all that fighting he still has the stamina to leap around like that. Haku asked the team. Hana then replied to him, Naruto-kun is always energetic I can't wait to get him in my bed. Sister was heard throughout the bridge coming from an embarrassed Hinata she could believe to say that in front of everybody. With that, Haku took Zabuza's body and left for the burial, while the rest of the team trudged back home for some well-deserved rest as they retired for the night to recuperate and help out with the work for the bridge's completion the following days. The bridge was finally completed and everyone was at gate as their saviors were leaving. The village thanked for their help as they called them up one by one to thank them by the new leader of Wave Country Tsunami. As it was Naruto's turn there were lots of screaming for him, especially from the ladies. Naruto we love you screamed the ladies. We want to have your baby screamed the ladies. As Naruto reached the platform Tsunami hugs him and thank him for saving the village as she released him from the hug and Naruto was about to step down, he felt someone hold onto his hand and drag him into the most breathed kiss he had ever had as they parted Tsunami whispered into his ears. Can't wait to feel you inside me again while blushing. Then she felt it 3 Kai directed at her as she turned around she saw that it was coming from Annika, Hana, and Kurenai Tsunami, let out some of her own show that she may not be a ninja, but she wouldn't back down for the love of Naruto. As the ninja left everybody was complaining about what to name the bridge. How about the Great Kakashi Bridge said one of the villagers. Everybody just looked at him and started to laugh. He's so ashamed that he didn't say anything for the rest of the day. How about the great JAY 3000, said a sexy girl. Who is that fool, said one of the villager. He is greatest author around and he is the one writing this story right now, plus he hot and sexy, the sexy said as blood was seen coming out of her noise. You meaning that worthless shit he can't write a good story to save his life, said a villager as everybody started to laugh. Suddenly a great shadow appeared. You dare say that about me, great and powerful author, said the author. Are you saying something, replied the villagers. You guys are so mean, as the author ran away crying. How about the great Naruto bridge, said Tsunami. Then everybody started to cheer. But Konoha ninja. As they rest for the night, Kakashi and Sasuke try to question Naruto about his ability and swords, while secretly wanting to learn the jutsu used to kill Gato's men themselves, after finding out that it was a Kage-ranked kinjutsu. He just leveled them with a glare at their attitude and shrugged them off, which only caused them to bother him more. Until he Kawaramit with 2 clones to get away from him. Konoha Gate. As they reached the gate, they were stopped by the gate guards by order of the Hokage. The teams looked confused and with begrudging remarks, waited at the gate until several Anbu officers showed up and finally answered the unanimous question everyone wanted answered. Uzumaki Naruto, please come with us to Hokage-sama's office, the council wishes to speak with you and Hokage-sama, said a tiger mask Anbu. I'll only go with you if Nico-chan is with you, said Naruto. The teams and Kakashi just looked at him with questioning looks. But upon seeing the annoyance on his face, guessed it was news to them as well. You will come with me, right, demon, said the tiger Anbu as he was about to attack. A fist caught him, sending him flying into the trees. It was from a purple hair Anbu wearing a Nico mask. I'm right here, Naruto-kun, said Nico as she took his hand, then they vanish in a red flash. Kakashi and Hana spoke to their team and Haku quickly before dismissing the teams and leaving them to go on their separate way. Kakashi then shunshined away, hoping to have a word with Sarutobi before the meeting happened. Hokage Tower. As they reached the Hokage door, Naruto stopped. What's wrong, Naruto-kun, Nico asked. Naruto walked up to her and took her mask off, revealing the beautiful face of Yugao and gentle kiss her on her lips as she blushed. I wanted to thank you for what you did earlier, Naruto said. It's no problem, she said as she kisses him back while blushing. Then they heard. Enter, an aged voice called out from within his office as Nico put her mask back on. Then the rest of the Anbu arrived. Hokage-sama, we have retrieved Uzumaki Naruto as you've requested once they returned from their mission in Wave. The Nico mask Anbu stated in her work voice. Ah, good, thank you Nico, you may go back to your posts now, Sarutobi ordered, waving his hand in dismissal. Hey Yugao-chan, maybe we can have dinner sometime, Naruto said, give a foxy smile. Sure Naruto-kun, when I have time, said Yugao while blushing behind the mask. Then she vanished. The 3 Anbu quickly left the office, leaving only the 2 occupants in the room in silence. Sarutobi was filling out some more paperwork for a few minutes before the Naruto became agitated. Aji-san, if you just wanted to annoy me, then you are doing a good job. Now why have you and the council summoned me for? Naruto asked, with an annoyed tone. Sarutobi stamped his insignia on a single paper before putting the rest away inside. I wasn't the one to call this meeting, the council called it, but I don't know why. Though I assume that it'll have to do something with you and your bloodline. The Hokage responded. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Kurumu said. Omen, I didn't want to reveal. Kakashi, I dislike eavesdroppers, get out here now, Naruto said. The shadow in the corner of the room began to bend and warp into the form of the infamous copy ninja, with an embarrassing smile under his mask. You better have a good reason for this, hot Aki. This meeting is a private matter of which you have no need to be a part of. Sarutobi growled out, not only for his subordinates eavesdropping, but also that Naruto called the Cyclops out when he didn't notice him himself. The menace, I Hokage-sama, he started with a bow. I had come here to have a word with you before this meeting occurred. But the Anbu got here before I could, and I just came in hoping I could still get that chance. He explained. That still doesn't explain why you purposely hid yourself from us and then listened in on this meeting. The Hokage countered. Kakashi's nonchalant mannerisms quickly left, leaving only battle-hardened shinobi standing there. It's because I have concerns that need to be answered about these. Him standing in front of me, Hokage-sama, he began before eyeing the teen. I have seen strong genin in my time. But I have never seen any as strong as him. His skills are greater than mine, and he used jutsu that I never seen before and also have 2 powerful swords. I want to know who he really is and what he is truly capable of. Kakashi's hardened voice cut through the room, making everyone know he was deathly serious about every word he just spoke. Sarutobi just sighed softly. I should have figured that if anyone of the Jounin would find these about him, it would be Kakashi. Omen Kakashi, but those questions not even I can completely answer. I only know the tip of the iceberg when it comes to these him. If you wish to know more you can ask him yourself, but I doubt he will tell you. He confessed. Kakashi just looked beepizing at the Naruto in front of him before sighing and nodded to his commander. And after what I've done to him I know he won't tell me. So all I can do is wait until he reveals himself or trusts me enough to tell me the truth. Gomenasai, my intrusion will not happen again, he explained, making Naruto crack a small smile. Like that ever going to happen? I rather kill you first, Naruto, though. Well, since we got that out of the way, Kakashi, you'll have to leave. As you've heard, the council wishes to speak with me and I'm bringing along your student. Kakashi nodded in knowing the situation and bowed once more before shunning out of the office to leave the two to the torture that awaited them in that room. We going in with the plan, right, Kurumu-chan? Naruto mentally asked his mate. It'll be far too annoying to have those people know what you can do. She answered back. As the Hokage got up from his desk, he noticed Naruto dispelling something and then seemed to seal what looked like a body in a storage scroll. He was about to ask Naruto what he was doing, but knew the boy had so many secrets that asking would probably only cause him to come up with even more questions than he already had. Naruto did a hand sealed for the something that looks like Uchiha's no jutsu, which piqued the man's interest, and watched in fascination as Naruto slam his hand into the ground. Seal release. Release Kurumu. Sarutobi almost had a heart attack when his eyes met the gaze of the fox as she transformed into her human form, his hand immediately going for his kunai under his robes. She ignored the Hokage and ran straight at Naruto and hugs him while crushing her cleavage into his face. Did you miss me, Nar-kun, she said. Naruto didn't get to answer as she captured his lip with hers, then she saw the Hokage coming closer with his kunai. Calm down, Hokage, I'm not going to kill you. Kurumu's voice as she got off of Naruto. The old man relaxed at her words and quickly looked ashamed for his reaction. The menace IQB-san, bad memories, he whispered out, getting an understanding nod from the vixen. You don't fight a 50-story fox and get over it when you see a large fox again. That day was a large pill to swallow for all of us. She agreed, her visage showing deep pain before a set of hands wrapped around her waist affectionately, making her glad Naruto was with her now. Then she told him what happened that night. I understand. Are you both ready now? He asked. Council chambers. The council chambers were currently filled to the brim with delegates from every important family clan that belonged to the Hidden Leaf village. The council consisted of 8 civilian clan heads, the Hokage's 3 personal advisors, and 8 shinobi clan heads. However, only 6 of the shinobi seats are filled. The Namikaze, Uchiha and Uzumaki seats were empty, awaiting a time for their clan to return to glory. This made the council equally split positions and power between the civilians and shinobi. However, the true and final power of the council was held by the Hokage him herself. The council members were having their own separate conversations before a knock resounded against the large wooden double doors. The council quickly quieted down while an Anbu officer allowed the Hokage entrance. Sarutobi sighed. If he hated one thing more the paperwork, it was council meetings. Because in the end he'd just have that much more paperwork to do whether he gets his way or not anyway. He swiftly reached the stand meant only for the Hokage while Naruto stood beside him. Before we started, where my mother, old man, is? Naruto asked. She's on a mission, she will be back next week. Let this meeting come to order, Sarutobi called out, getting the last remnants of whispers silenced. Now this meeting has been appointed by the council itself to have an audience with me. What does the council wish to speak with me about concerning the village? He eyed the heads to see who'd speak up first. We are here to talk about the craw for the young Uzumaki. You know how it goes already, no need in writing it. 2 hours later. As Naruto left the meeting, he was furious. Can't believe they were forcing him to get 2 wives before the exam. Not he could find women, he had 2 already, twin by the way. Flashback 1 year ago. As Naruto entered Mizukage Manor to his room expecting to see Mai, as he entered his room the door behind them closed, he turned around to see Mai standing there with a seductive smile on her face. Mai pulled him in a tight hug and kissed him. Lemon scene happened. Looking at her, he saw that Mai was fast asleep, then he looked at Mai in the corner. She walked over to them. Next time you will be playing with the both of us, Mai said as she kissed him and left for her Kage duty. As he lay there with one of her hands still on her free stand, the other between her legs. Sighing tiredly, he wrapped his hands around her waist from behind and closed his eyes. Good night, my vixen. He whispered before joining his Mai-chan in the land of dreams. Flashback end. I could always tell the council about Mai and her sister, but I don't anybody to know about them yet. I was going to wait until we were jonin before I asked them, but it looks like I don't have a choice in the matter. Ichiraku Ramen shop. Hey old man. Naruto said. The old man grinned and replied, hey Naruto, how's it going? Oh wait, let me guess, it's going good, right? Yeah, it's been very good, just got back from a C-rank mission that turns A rank. Naruto noticed Ichiraku quirk an eyebrow and he responded in kind, be quirking his own. That sound cool, maybe you can tell me about it later, Tucci. How about now? Naruto said as Itachi told what happened. Hey Naruto-kun, said Ayame, who basically sprang from out of nowhere, tackling Naruto to the ground while rubbing herself against him. I miss you Naruto-kun, said Ayame as she rubbed her CC against his chest. I miss you too Aya-chan. Naruto said as he wrapped his hand around her and started to rub her back, then he let his hand slid down to her bottom and gave it a gentle squeeze that making her let out a moan. A naughty thought crossed Ayame's mind, oh my god, this feel good, I have to find a way to get you alone with me in my apartment so I can ride you until you begged me to get off. She grinned widely at the thought, all the while sporting a slight blush at such perverse thoughts. Naruto saw this and decided to tease her. I did know that my Aya-chan was a pervert, Naruto whispered in her ears, which made blush even harder. Then Itachi coughed and Ayame immediately jumped off of Naruto and rushed back around the counter. Naruto quickly recovered old man 3 Mizo Ramen for the moment. Itachi nodded with a smile on his face and headed into the kitchen to prepare his favorite customer his meal, while about the grandbabies he was going to spoil. So Ayame, what are you thinking about? Asked Naruto, decided to tease her again. Nothing important. Said Ayame a bit too quickly as a blush appeared on her face. Are you hiding something from me Aya-chan? Naruto asked in a seductive manner. What? It's not like I'm having perverted thoughts about you. Ayame clamped her mouth shut and proceeded to head to the back of the ramen ship, all the while blushing like a sunburned tomato. Naruto just smiled, he loved to make her blush. As Naruto finished meal, he thanked the old man already and decided to thank Ayame too. Hey Aya-chan, I like to thank you for the ramen that you cook for me, said Naruto. You're welcome Naruto-kun, she said while blushing. Beside, you can eat my ramen anytime you want, Ayame said in a low voice she thought Naruto didn't hear. Naruto then appeared before her, then he captures her lips to his. She was shocked for a moment before she deepened the kiss as their tongues massage each other tongue. After about a minute they parted, then Naruto whispered into her ears, I'll do a lot more than eat your ramen the next time we meet. Then he vanished in a red flash, leaving her standing there before she was blown back by massive noise bleed. That knocked her out. 2 weeks later. Naruto was walking to his house. As he reached and he was surrounded by 5 Anbu wear mask, slug, raven, sloth, devil and bird. As Naruto was about to attack. Naruto stop. He turns around to see his mother. Mom, what's going on? Naruto replied. It is a surprise for you, these are some ladies who want to be with you, but can't at the moment, you have to wait until the Chunin exam is over, but you have to guess who they are first, Kushina said as she led Naruto over to a chair in the middle of the room and put him to sit on it as she blindfolded him. Naruto-kun, they are going to give you a hint one by one for you to guess who they are, Kushina said. Okay mom, Naruto replied. First up is Sloth, Kushina said. Sloth walk up to Naruto and remove her mask as sit on his lap and wrap her leg around him and press the priest against him and said this is very troublesome, but you are worth it, as started to give him a lap dance that make Naruto member rise to the heaven. Oh Naruto, it's so big I can't wait to ride it, Sloth said as she got off of him. Naruto wanted, who could that be? Next we have Raven, Kushina said. Raven took off her mask and sits on Naruto's lap, like how you sit on a chair, and put Naruto's hand on her priest as Naruto begun to rub them as she moaned. You can do a lot more, rub them when you become an elite, said Raven as she got off of him. Next we have Bird, said Kushina. Bird walked up to Naruto and took her mask off and sit on him the same way Raven did. No one can ever cage this bird's beat, Bird replied as she got off of him. Next we have Devil, said Kushina. Devil walks up to Naruto and took her mask off and sat on Naruto's lap the same way Sloth did and kiss him, then she deepened it as she tries to suck Naruto's tongue out of his mouth. That was the best kiss Naruto has ever had. We are finally together after all these years, Devil said as she got off of him. Last but not least Slug, said Kushina. Slug walks up to Naruto and took her mask off and kneeled down between Naruto's legs and put her hands into pant and took out his beep and started stroking. Maybe one day I show you why they called me legendary, said Slug as she got up. So Naruto, any guess of what they are, said Kushina as she took the blindfold off of him to realize that Naruto had passed out with a smile on his face and blood running out of his nose. I guess I kind of overdid it, replied Slug as Kushina glared at her. As the rest of them started to laugh as Kushina took Naruto up to his room. Hokage Tower. Kakashi had been summoned to the Hokage room, wondering what's going on. Yes, Lord Hokage. Bowing. Hiruzen takes the pipe from his mouth. I have a mission for Sasuke. Kakashi, hearing this, raises an eye. I want Naruto. Uzumaki watched, and I wanted you to give Sasuke and Sakura extra training. Kakashi nodded, but one thing bothered him. Why? Asked Kakashi. Hiruzen explaining that he doesn't trust Naruto and in case if anything they could take him out. Kakashi nods. I will start teach Sasuke's Kenjutsu and more powerful jutsu. I'm sure he will be able to take him out, asked Kakashi. Hiruzen looks at him saying he will fix the rounds after indeed. But the Hyuga elders are asking me to make a match with Neji and Hinata. Knowing them they will tell him to kill her. Kakashi on the other hand hearing this raises an eye. Yes, even though it's none of his business, but letting this happen, he wonders since Naruto is involved with her sister and he and Hinata are good friends also who know what Naruto would do. Is that all? Asked Kakashi. Hiruzen shake his head no. I understand, bowing Kakashi then leave to start training Sasuke. But before he left, Hiruzen told him to tell Sasuke about the A rank mission but not the Hokage position. And believed Tsunade is leaving tonight on a 5-year mission. Now who is going to be my replacement? I was planning on retiring after the exam, Hiruzen though as he finishes paperwork. In the ceiling a small summoning animal hearing this poof away knowing this news will piss off Naruto very much. 2 months later. It was about noon when Naruto, Hana and Annika heard a ruckus around one corner and decided to investigate. What they found was a black-suited ninja from Suna holding up a scared little kid while a disheveled Sakura and Kiba threw insults at them. His teammates seemed to want him to just put the kid down before their other teammates showed up. They seemed to be afraid of whoever the person was, but despite that the guy didn't listen and drew back to hit the kid. A rock impacted his hand right when teams 8 and 11 made their presence known. You may want to put the kid down before you give me an excuse to kick your asses down the street, pajama boy. Sasuke was standing in a nearby tree with a smirk on his face, though looking a bit ragged like his teammates, while Sakura praised his ability to hit a hand from 15 feet away. The redhead seemed to be checking out the raven-haired boy, which he apparently noticed as his smirk deepened, and he jumped down. You seem like a strong kunoichi unlike the females here. Maybe you'd like to go back to my place and get to know one another. He stalked a bit closer, but was blocked by the black-suited shinobi, who threw the kid he was holding to the side. That's my sister you're talking about, pal, so unless you want to be a few limbs shorter, I suggest you back off. The boy hoisted the pakage that was strapped to his back. Hankerm? You can't use that here, we'll get thrown out. The girl narrowed her eyes at the boy as she scolded him. Shut up, Garina. I'm not letting this punk anywhere near you. But you're right, I shouldn't need Karasu for this weakling. He smirked, but all motion stopped as killing intent flooded the alley. Hankerm, stop before you embarrass us. A blonde Suna kunoichi appeared on a branch of the same tree Sasuke had just left. But, Temari, they started it. Hankerm tried to reason with the new arrival. Shut up or I'll kill you. Temari said coldly. Arina and Hankerm began to sweat now. Temari, please let's just go. Come on, listen to me. Please. Replied Hankerm. The said girl vanished in a whirl of sand and appeared in front of the other two. Never have I thought of you as my siblings. If you get in my way, I will kill you. Temari then walked past them as they all stood there frozen. Hold it there. You're from Suna. What business do you have walking around these streets? Kiba managed to quell the invisible force a little, but most of those present wanted to smack him across the head for asking such a stupid question. Yeah, what business does Suna have in Konoha? Asked the bubblegum princess. It was Hana who answered for them though. They are most likely here for the Chunin exams, as are most of the foreign ninja that are currently in the village. Hey Hana-chan, why don't you ditch the dope and let me show you what a real man is? Kiba began walking over to her but was stopped by a sword from Annika. You may want to back off, Kiba-san. Naruto-kun wouldn't like your advances on his girlfriend. Annika spat at him. To which he just growled. What about you then? As he walked up to her he felt something hit him in the chest at Hana. She's off limited too, she's Naruto girlfriend too, Hana said. The exchange seemed to intrigue the Sunanin, as they couldn't figure out who this Naruto was, or why he had such loyalty from obviously more than just his team, while other ninja from the same village seemed to detest him, if the looks on the other three faces meant anything. And where is this Naruto you speak of? The coward seems to have hidden before he was in danger. Kiba growled out. Just enjoying the view. Everyone jumped in surprise. Even Temari raised his head a bit and widened her eyes at Red Hair God. As the three Sunanin turned, they revealed a red-haired teen standing only a couple feet behind them. Arms crossed and leaning against the nearby fence as he cleaned his fingernails with a kunai. These types of exchanges amuse me. They amuse you too, don't they, Temari-chan? Naruto evened his eyes with the blonde and held his ground. Arina couldn't believe it. Here was a boy, about the age of her older sister, who had snuck around them and gotten this close without any of them noticing. Quite the feat considering Temari was always on guard due to his life. Forget the Raven guy though. Wow, what a piece this guy is. I have to have him though, Garina. Wow, he looks strong, hot, and I feel like he is like me. I want him to be mine. Maybe if I'm lucky mother won't let me kill him. Then all I have to do is get him to see I'm twice the woman his little girlfriend is. Temari was brought out of her daze by mother. You little flesh bag, what are you think doing? He is the nine-tailed brat, of course. You are going kill to prove our existence, shouted the one-tail. But why mother, if he is just like me, why should I kill him? Asked Temari. Because I said so, the one-tail said. That Biskurumu will regard turning me down when I asked her out. Forgive mother, I will kill him, Temari in a sad voice. Temari stopped only once more to turn and look at Naruto again. Naruto-san, you are like me. I look forward to kill you. A simple comment, but one that sent shivers down the Sunanin's spines and dashed Garina's hopes. As Sunanin's was about to leave, Naruto appeared before Temari face to face before kissing her on the lips, then explore her mouth and body while she was frozen. No one had ever dared to kiss her, much feel her up. What are you doing? Kill him now, yelled the one-tail. Temari snapped out of her daze and called forth her sand to crush him, but Naruto was already gone. Where he, she yelled as the sand flared around her, forcing her brother and sister to move away from here. Everybody except Hana and Annika just stood there with shock expression on their face. They could believe Naruto did that. Realizing that no one now where he is, she turned around to then. Tell your friend the next time I see him I will kill him, Temari said. Once the three left, Naruto returned back towards his companions. That was fun, Naruto said. Yes, it was, Hana said as she and Annika walk up to him, both of them kiss him on the lips. Hey Kur-chan, why did you tell me to do that? Although I did enjoy it, Naruto said. Just wanted to get back at a friend, Kuruma replied. He was about to ask about the friend when he heard Sasuke's voice. Taking the coward's way out, then Hadobe. Sasuke said. Naruto took a moment to think, then turned to the last Uchiha. Sasuke-chan, if you are that desperate to be beaten down by me, then I suggest you wait until the exam. That way you can show us all just how superior you are. His friends didn't know whether to laugh at the obvious jabs or to roll their eyes at the team for actually believing such a thing. You're right, Dope, for once. It'll be so much better to humiliate you in front of everyone than to take you out in some back alley. Sasuke shoved his hands in his pockets and turned to leave, signaling to Sakura that it was time to go. Well, as amusing as that was to watch, I think it's about time that he gets to show off just how badly he can beat me in front of the whole village. I'm sure by the end they'll be screaming his name followed by a call for a medic. Naruto turned and did his best impression of an emo with a stick up his ass, much to his friends' amusement as they walked off to scout some more. Next day. Today's the day. Naruto thought as he walked to the academy. The cool morning air blew across his now tan face. Thanks to his hours and hours of training, Naruto now has a nice even tan. Naruto decided that for the exam he would dress like his teacher Hawkeye, so he unsealed his sword, which he named the Red Death, the sword that looked like Hawkeye's sword but as a red blade, put it on his back except for the hat. Naruto, a voice cried out, forcing Naruto out of his thoughts. He looked up to see Sakura waving at him at the academy front doors. Naruto paid her no mind and continued to walk as he read his book. Naruto, are you ready for the exam? Sakura said, trying to start a conversation with the boy. Yes. Was all Naruto said to her. Sasuke rose up to Naruto and smirked at him. You better make it toward the finals, Dope. I only entered the exams to fight you. You say something, Uchiha, Naruto said as he walks past him, leaving fuming Sasuke. Inside the academy. Once inside, they found a huge crowd with a hiss of pain coming from it. They reached the front to see a weird boy hitting the floor with a busted lip. Naruto stared at the boy in confusion. Why would anyone wear that kind of clothing? Naruto thought. The boy had a very distinctive appearance. His hair was cut into a bowl shape that shined in the light. He seemed to have huge and very thick eyebrows, causing Naruto to pity the animal stapled on the guy's face. The boy seemed to be wearing a green jumpsuit with orange leg warmers and wearing his red forehead protector as a belt. Amazingly, Naruto's gaze stayed on the boy's hands. They were covered in bandages that went up to his wrists. The boy in the green stood up and glared at the two boys guarding the door. You plan to take on the Chunin exams with that kind of power? You might as well quit now. One of the boys said out loud to the crowd. A girl came up and helped the fallen boy back up to his feet. Naruto took this time to inspect the girl who looks to be the boy's teammate. The girl had brown eyes with long brown hair that seems to be put into two buns. She wore her forehead protector on her forehead under nether her bangs. She looked very plain as she wore a pink sleeveless blouse with dark green pants. She looked very plain to Naruto's eyes, but he knew for a fact that looks can be deceiving. Please let us through. The girl pleaded only to get smacked in the face, sending her back to her teammate. The people around her gasped at the cruelty the boy showed. You think we like doing this? We're saving you. The Chunin exams aren't easy. Even we failed 3 times. Anything can happen in this exam, even your death. Chunins often become the commanding officer on a mission. The failure of a mission could often mean the death of your comrade. Are you prepared to make that kind of choice? The boy said, shutting up everyone in the hall. Sasuke made a move to show off only for Naruto to grab his shoulder. Don't do it, Uchiha. This is a test to weed out the weaklings. If you interfered now, this could bring us a lot of unwanted competition to the exams. Naruto replied. Sasuke glared at him and went anyway as he tried to sneak up on them, but one of the boys seemed to see them sneak away and charge them. Now where do you think you guys are going? The boy said, raising a fist to punch Sasuke. Sasuke seeing this aimed a kick at the boy. Before they made contact with each other, the boy who was knocked down from the start came out of nowhere and caught their attacks much to everyone's shock. Sakura looked at the boy in shock as she beepized the boy. Whoa, where did he come from? Sakura thought. This guy is insanely fast, I never saw him move. He's completely different from earlier. Sakura thought as she turned her gaze to Sasuke. He seemed to be in shock as well. He caught my kick with his hands. Did he use Sharka? Sasuke thought as he looked towards Naruto to see his reaction. Naruto had an unreadable face making Sasuke a little nervous inside. What happened to the plan, Lee? The boy said with long dark brown hair. His hair seemed to reach the middle of his back and was tied back a few inches above the end, while two straps attached to a smaller headband underneath his ninja forehead protector framed the sides of his face. He wore a black headband that he wore snugly over his forehead. He wore a khaki shirt and dark brown shorts. He also had bandages wrapped around his right arm, chest, and right leg. Naruto knew who this person was immediately. He was Neji Hyuga, Hana's cousin. Sorry Neji, but Lee said as he left the sentence hanging as he blushed toward Sakura. He raised a fist and walked over to Sakura. Hi, my name is Rock Lee, you must be Sakura. Let's go out together. I'll protect you with my life. Lee said smiling as his teeth blinked nearly blinding her. Sakura's face turned aghast as she went over the words in her head. No way. You so lame. Sakura said as Lee's head dropped in despair. Naruto cracked a small smile at the display, highly amused at her friend's new crush. Hey you, what's your name? Neji asked Sasuke with a small smirk. Sasuke, keeping up his cool act, turned to Neji with a smirk of his own. When you want to learn someone's name, you should give yours first. Sasuke said, gaining a smile and giggle from Tenten and a frown from Neji. You're a rookie, right? How old are you? Neji persisted. Sasuke snorted and turned away. I don't have to answer you. Neji turned to Naruto and narrowed his eyes at him. You're Hana-sama's new boyfriend, aren't you? Naruto glared at him. And if I am? Naruto asked in a cold voice. Neji flinched at the way he answered him, then he recovered. Just asking. Neji said with a smirk. Sasuke-kun, Naruto, let's go. We have an exam to pass. Sakura said as she pulled Sasuke while Naruto followed them. A few minutes later. Hey you, the guy with the blue eyes, please stop. A voice shouted from a balcony above. They turned their gaze to the familiar boy that stood. They recalled the boy from before as Lee. Sakura flinched in terror to her admirer seeing him here. Naruto did answer. Will you fight me right here, right now? Lee asked with fire in his eyes. Naruto said no, not even look at him. Then Naruto vanished in a red flash. Fight me instead, I'm way stronger, Sasuke demanded. Lee nodded as he jumped down from the balcony. My name is Rock Lee. Lee said, pointing towards himself. When you want to learn a person's name you have to introduce yourself, right? Lee said, throwing Sasuke's own words against him. Uchiha Sasuke. Frankly, you're a fool for accepting my challenge when you know of the Uchiha name, Sasuke said, darkly clearing, underestimating Lee. Yeah, kick his ass, Sasuke-kun. Sakura yelled as she watched him get into his own stance. Sasuke versus Lee. I'll say this, Sasuke, you cannot defeat me because as it stands, right now I am the strongest of all the genins of Konoha. Lee said as Sasuke narrowed his eyes at that statement. He stopped my kick with his hand before. That wasn't human, I don't know what kind of ninjutsu he used, but I'm about to find out. Sasuke thought as he stared down Lee. Sounds fun, let's do it. Said Sasuke. Wait, Sasuke-kun. Sakura yelled out. We only have 15 minutes to get to the exam. Sasuke nodded and charged Lee. He's coming. I'm sorry Guy-sensei, I may have to break your rules. I may need to use that move. Lee thought before he blurred away. Leaf spinning wind. Lee yelled as he blurred in front of Sasuke, aiming a kick to his head. Sasuke saw the move coming and ducked but was unable to dodge the kick coming to his right. He tried to block but to Sasuke's amazement, Lee's kick broke through his guard, sending him flying. Naruto looked from his hiding place at the fight. He noticed the seal Lee made before his kick connected. I didn't sense any charka, why did he make that seal? What happened, he blocked that? Sakura said, amazed and confused at what happened. Her thoughts were identical to Sasuke's as he reviewed what happened in his mind. He slipped through my guard. How did he do it, ninjutsu or genjutsu? Sasuke thought as he glared at Lee's smirk. Fine, this just gives me a chance to practice it. Sasuke thought as his eyes flashed into a Sharingan, surprising Sakura. Sakura stared at her crush in awe. When did he get the Sharingan? She said. I got it in Wave Country. Sasuke said. This is great. Sasuke-kun is incredible. If this is the same advanced bloodline as Kakashi-sensei, then he can read Bushy Brow's moves. Ninjutsu or genjutsu, it will reveal it all. Sasuke-kun is getting stronger and stronger. The Uchiha clan is so great. Yes, Sasuke-kun can't lose to this guy now. Sakura ranted with an excited look on her face. Back to the fight. Kage Beim. Shadow of the Dancing Leaf Lee shouted as he appeared behind Sasuke. You are about to see what my hard work can do. Lee said as his bandages unwrapped in the air. Hard work will always surpass a genius. Lee said in a whisper, but before he could complete his technique, his bandages were stuck to the wall by a pinwheel. That's enough, Lee. A voice shouted as Lee rebounded to get to the voice. Sasuke looked on in shock, but unable to right himself. Luckily Sakura was able to catch him before he hit the floor. You were watching, Lee said, breaking Naruto out of his thoughts as he watched Lee get chewed out by a turtle. Interesting, I have never seen a turtle summon before. Are you prepared to pay? The turtle asked as Lee lowered his head. Alright then, here comes Guy-sensei. The turtle yelled as a burst of smoke erupted from on top of the turtle's shell. A man appeared above the shell in a very strange pose. The man was very tall and had very thick eyebrows. In fact, he looked like an adult version of Lee. The only thing that was different was the standard Konoha flak jacket that was unzipped. Well, it seems you guys are the epitome of youth. He said, sending off all kinds of alarms in their head. Lee. Guy said, making Lee turn to him only for him to get a punch in the face as everyone gasped in shock. What the hell? Sakura yelled at the action. Lee. Guy started as Lee gazed at him in tears. Guy-sensei, Lee said, only to jump into the older clone's arms. That's enough, Lee, you don't need to say it. Guy said as Lee screamed into his chest. Sasuke looked on in shock and anger. His eye was twitching in annoyance. I lost to him. Yes. This is what youth is all about. It's alright, Lee. Youth and mistakes go together. Guy said as Lee cleared his eyes of tears. You're too nice, sensei. But you did start a fight and almost broke my rules. Your punishment will take place after the Chunin exams, Guy said, getting a yes sir from Lee. You will do 500 laps around our practice field on my fingers. Guy said, going back into a pose. Hi. Lee said, saluting to the elder clone. Sasuke thought together. What the hell is up with them? Sakura thought. This was quite amusing. Naruto thought as he watched both of their antics from his hiding spot. Guy turned his gaze to the group. Sakura flinched as he inched closer to Sasuke. These kids are Kakashi's, where's the other one? Hey. How are Kakashi doing? Guy asked, making them look toward the man. You know him? Sasuke asked, making Guy chuckle. Guy smirked as he disappeared from their eyes, catching everyone off guard. People refer Kakashi and me as eternal rivals. Guy's voice responded behind them. With 50 wins and 49 loses, I'm stronger than Kakashi. Guy said, shocking Team 7. No way, he's so fast. His speed is above Kakashi, is he even human? Sasuke thought in shock. He knew Kakashi was insanely strong. To meet someone besides the Hokage who's stronger than him was an eye-opener. You can come out now, Guy said, while everybody was wondered who he was talking to. As Naruto came out of Lee's shadow, surprising everybody, even Guy hadn't expect Naruto to be that close to them. You must be Kakashi's other students, Guy said. No, I not, I just on his team. I can't wait to see how you and Lee do in these exams. I can see that your flames of youth shine brightly. With that said, Guy disappeared in a puff of smoke. Lee nodded at his mentor as he turned his gaze toward Sasuke. Sasuke-kun, I'll say one more thing before we go our separate ways. The truth is, I came here to test my abilities. The truth of the matter is that I lied before. I am not the strongest of the Leaf Genins, on my team however is. I've entered the exams to defeat him. Niji Hyuga, and as of now you are also my targets. Lee said, earning a snort from Naruto. The strongest of the Leaf Genins is not Niji. He is only a prick with a stick up his ass. Naruto said, turning and laying an intimidating glare on Lee. I am the strongest of the Leaf Genins. Naruto said with a smirk. What are you talking about, dope? I am the strongest, Sasuke said, narrowing his eyes at Naruto. Naruto said nothing and walked away. Once they reached the door, they noticed Kakashi standing in front on the door. So you all came. Now you can properly take the exams. Kakashi said as he shut his book and got off the wall. What do you mean, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked as she looked toward her one-eyed sensei. The truth is that this test can only be taken by teams of 3. Kakashi said. If that's true, what would have happened if only 2 of us had shown up, said Sasuke. Then none of you would have been allowed to take the exam, Kakashi replied. I'm proud of all of you though. You all came here on your own to grow stronger. I'm as proud as I can be, not even looking at Naruto. Now go. Kakashi said with an eye smile. Then they walked through the doors. As soon as they burst through the door, they soon found themselves in a large classroom along with other people who had already arrived, and when suddenly Ino came from out of nowhere, groped Sasuke, while Sakura yelled at her to let go of her. Sasuke, then teammate came up with Kiba announcing their presence. Hey, where is Naruto at? The Inuzuka asked. Ino noticed that the red-haired boy was not around them and asked, yeah, where is he? I am right here, Ino-chan. Naruto said as he appeared behind Ino and cupped her fist, then begun to feel them up. My Ino-chan, you finally grew fist, Naruto said as he started pinching her fist, which make her moan, while a blush appeared on her face. Suddenly Naruto felt a shadow attached to his own, then his hand went for his sword on his back as he took it off and put it at his neck and was about to kill himself. Suddenly someone was sent flying across the room, everyone turned to see Hinata in a gentle fist stand and then every looked to see who she had attacked to see Shikamaru out cold in the corner. Hey! Hinata, why did you attack Shikamaru? Ino yelled as she rushed out of Naruto grasp towards Shikamaru. He was the one that was controlling Naruto-kun, Hinata said. Everyone turned to Naruto to ask him why Shikamaru had tried to kill him, but he was gone, then they heard ape. Everybody turned to see a blushing Hinata and Naruto who was feel up her fist, they were all so shocked everybody in the room froze. I did not know you care for me that much for me, Hinata-chan, Naruto as he whisper in Hinata ears as he continue rubbing her fist. IIWAS, Hinata shuddered while moaning. Hincha, you are almost as big as her sisters and soft too, Naruto whispered to her ears. This action made every man in the room were blow back with a noise bleed while the women watch with interest. And all the girls mind. Oh my god, he's not even doing it to me and I'm already wet, wonder they all thought. Why isn't Naruto-kun feel up me too, what Hinata and Ino have that I don't, Sakura thought. Priest inner, Sakura yelled. Shut you, Sakura yelled. Back with Naruto and Hinata. You even tasted like Hana-chan too, Naruto said as she fainted from her orgasm when suddenly a sliver hairboy approached them. You fresh genin need to learn to keep it down. Can't you sense the atmosphere? Everyone is already tense from their nervousness. The unrecognized Konoha-nin looked around at the fresh arrivals, weighing them individually and making a few of them rather uncomfortable. Suddenly Kurumu started to growl and Naruto asked, Kurumu-chan, what's wrong? The demonic fox answered, that silver-haired kid. He is reeking of the smell of snakes. Really, Naruto said. Kurumu replied yes. Will that be a problem, Naruto asked. I'm not sure, just watch out for anything, Kurumu replied. Then Naruto heard Kiba ask a question. Who are you? Kiba asked. My name is Ikushi Kabuto and I'm somewhat of a veteran of this exam. Oh really? How many times have you taken a Kabuto-san? Sakura tried to be polite in front of fellow ninja of the village. Kabuto scratched his nose in embarrassment. Heh, this will be my 7th time trying. The Konoha genin were shocked. Now I know something is definitely not right with this guy, no one can suck that bad, Naruto thought. Wow, 7 times? You must really suck. Kiba said he couldn't help but laugh, earning a smack on the back of his head from Sakura. Heh. That may be, but thanks to doing this so many times I've been able to gather a lot of good information. Kabuto whipped out a deck of cards and shuffled them. These are my nin info cards. I have information on everyone attending this year. Since you're new, I'll be nice and help you out a bit. Is there anyone here you want information on? Sasuke stepped forward. I want information on Sabaku no Temari of Suna, Rock Lee of Konoha and Uzumaki Naruto of Konoha. He glared over at the last boy named who narrowed his eyes in return. Finally, I'll get some dirt on you, dope. Sasuke thought. Oh, you know their names already? That's no fun. Kabuto said. Shuffling his deck again, Kabuto pulled out 3 cards. Let's see, Rock Lee is first, he's done about 20 tier rank. 12 C rank. Not bad considering he's a year older than you. He excels at Taijutsu, but ninjutsu and genjutsu are nearly non-existent. This will be his first time entering with his team of Tenten and Haikeniji. There's no way a genin has this much information on other genins, Naruto thought. Next up is Sabaku no Temari, her team has completed 18 C rank. 2B rank. It says she's come back from every one of them unharmed. A genin doing 2B rank is highly unusual, but to be unharmed afterward is unheard of. Skills are unknown, but this is also her first year along with his teammates and siblings, her older brother Kankurm and their younger sister Garina. Well, last one has to be Uzumaki Naruto, aka the Supernova. Kabuto channeled a little chakra into the last card to get the information to display. 1 C rank turns A rank. 2B rank. Hijutsu high. Ninjutsu high. Bainjutsu unknown. Henjutsu very high. It also said that he killed 2 Chunin, Mizuki and Iruka Yamino, for taking the Forbidden Scroll. Everyone was shocked to hear that Naruto killed 2, especially their favorite teacher Iruka. It also said that he killed Gato's men with just a swing of his sword and that he has a hidden bloodline. Then the card disappeared. They all looked around to see Naruto casually walking up to Kabuto, twirling the card in his fingers. Did that back dope? Sasuke made a lunge for the card as it was his last chance to get some more decent information on Naruto. He was easily dodged him. Naruto turned to address Kabuto where only Kabuto could see it, the Sharingan as it morphed in the Manjukum Sharingan, then he said Tsukiyomi. Tsukiyomi world. Where am I? Kabuto yelled as he was tied to a cross. You are in the world of Tsukiyomi where I control everything, Naruto said as he walks closer to Kabuto. Kabuto-san, you're playing a dangerous game. You seem to know a lot about me that only my mother or the Hokage knows, meaning that either the Hokage is telling you this, you are a spy for a next village, or for Orochimaru, and I think it's the last one because you smell of snake, Naruto said. You are quite the comedian, Naruto-kun. Me affiliated with Orochimaru? That is very humorous of you to think so, Kabuto replied. How about I find out for myself, Naruto said as he touched Kabuto's head as he saw who Kabuto was working for and the plan that person have for his village. So you are worker for traitor Bis Orochimaru, Naruto said, but Kabuto didn't answer. Then Naruto release him. Real world 1 millisecond later. Hey Kabuto, you are right. Kiba asked as he saw Kabuto fell to his knee. I find Kiba-san, Kabuto replied as he got back up. So this is the boy who Orochimaru-sama wants along with the Uchiha, Kabuto thought. Across the room. My Naruto-kun, you are strong than I thought. I'm look forward to meet you, Kukuku, the grass nin said to itself as it licks its lips. Most of those ninjas had overheard the announcement were on edge regardless of whether the information was accurate. If they ran into him in the exam they would run, while others were giving him measuring glances, as if sizing up for themselves just how much of a threat he could pose to them. Kabuto continue as if nothing had happened. This is the biggest turnout is from Konoha of course, but there are some decent numbers from Mist and a couple of the smaller countries. Odo is a newly founded hidden village, but since they are so new they probably won't pose much of a threat. His talk was stopped short as a shape made its way through the crowd and swung at Kabuto, barely missing. Foolish. Was all Naruto said. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Hinata asked. He just gave away his main attack. Naruto replied. The others looked past him to see Kabuto now kneeling on the floor showing everyone what his last meal was. Then Shikamaru awoke and charged at Naruto. Naruto, you team, I'm going to kill you, Shikamaru yelled. Then a large puff of smoke exploded at the front of the classroom, revealing a tall man in a black trench coat. Alright, you ungrateful insects, knock it off before I throw you out of the exam. Now everyone get to your assigned seats, it's time to start the first part of the exam. As the ninjas scrambled to their seats they found papers there waiting for them. Shikamaru glared at Naruto, you ruining my life, Uzumaki, for that I'll kill you, as he took his seat. Do not look at the paper in front of you until I say now for the rules. Ibiki explained all about how the test would proceed with points being taken off for cheating, and if your team's points reached 0 you would fail. The 10th question will be given at the end of the test. Until then, good luck. You may begin. Ibiki shouted. Heads bowed and papers flipped as the genin took their first looks at the paper. Naruto-kun, you can copy my answers if you need to. Hinata told her neighbor since he hadn't seemed to move in a while. He only seemed to scribble on the paper a bit before turning it over and setting his head on the desk. No thanks, Hinata-chan. I'm already finished. He leaned forward again and was about to close his eyes when a shadow formed up in front of him. Giving up already, boy? Ibiki loved this exam, it was his own little taste of mental torture. How you say something, Naruto said as Ibiki face fault. 20 minutes later. Alright, it's time for the last question, but first there are some more rules. Once again Ibiki spouted out his rules for the 10th question. There were cries of how unfair it was, but he gave them the choice of leaving and failing, or staying and answering the question. Getting it wrong would result in a lifetime of being a genin. Getting it right allowed you to the next part of the exam. Naruto just looked at him as few weak teams left. This is your last chance to leave or face the possibility of being genin forever. No one. Then you all pass. It was quiet for a minute before the classroom erupted with noise. Ibiki explained how it was a simulated life or death choice that they could encounter on any mission as a chunin. There is no bed and drinks for anyone who gets captured. He took off his bandana revealing his scarred head. The price of information is far too great for anyone to be spared an ounce of pain. If you are unwilling to face such a consequence then you are unfit to be a chunin. The rest of the test was simply information gathering and spy skills. If you get caught out in the field trying to gain secrets, then this is the outcome. Ibiki said. He wanted to give them a few minutes to let it sink in, but it was not to be as a black ball shot through the window and a banner shot out introducing the next proctor. My name is Mitarashi Sexy Anko, and I am the proctor for the second part of the exam. She grinned and pumps her fist into the air, all the genin sweat dropped at her action. Anko, you are early again. Ibiki peeked from around the banner. Anko looked around the room and sweat dropped. Ibiki, you left so many teams. You're slipping in your old age. No, we just have some unusually talented genin this time, especially that one in the third row on the right. He whispered back to her. She looked to where he indicated and gasped. There he was, sitting and staring at her with those beautiful blue orbs, and his rock-hard abs was showing as she looked him up and down. The same person that had pleasured her in her dreams since Kurenai had told her about his big friend. I see, Anko said with a blush on her face. She quickly snaps out of it. Your next exam will be held in training ground 44. Follow me and don't be late." With that she was gone with all the genin hopefuls hot on her heels. Ibiki began to gather the test sheets from around the room but stopped when he got to a certain sheet. Two things caught his eye about the completed paper. One was a seal that he'd never seen before. The other was a note at the bottom. Ibiki-san, the genin Yakushi Kabuto seems to know a bit more information than he should about everyone here. I would advise you keep an eye on him. Give this paper to Hokage-sama. He turned to one of his assistants. Finish up here. I need to go talk to Hokage-sama. Receiving nods of understanding he walked out, quietly wondering what the red-head boy was up to. Training ground 44. A tall gate surrounded the clump of forest that was separated from the rest of the land around it. Warning signs were posted at every gate and all over the areas between, stating a horrible demise to anyone that passed them. The only part Naruto really paid attention to when Anko was talking was when she described the process with the scrolls. This of course didn't go over too well with Anko, since she was used to having all eyes on her if her dress was any sign. Swish. The sharp edge of a kunai flew by Naruto's cheek, cutting into it slightly as a figure appeared behind him. You know you really should be more aware, Naruto-kun. This place is dangerous and you might get hurt. Try not to cry too much in there. Anko said as a smile to grace Anko's lips. To add effect she was about to lick the spot where the blade had cut him, but Naruto stopped her. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Naruto said. Why not, Anko said with a pout on her face. Because I have something else you can lick and it tastes a lot better than my blood, Naruto whispered in her ears while Anko was blushing. I like to taste it later if you don't die in there. Anko said. I'll back just to rock your world, Anko-chan, Naruto said as he turned toward her and took her hand and put it on his beak for her to feel the monster. So the teams all went to get a scroll and Naruto got his scroll and gave Sasuke a duplicate. Something in his gut told him that giving the scroll to Sasuke was a bad idea. After all the teams got their scrolls, they approached their gates and when Anko gave them the signal to start, they rushed through. Time skip. Naruto groaned as he looked up from his place on the ground. His thoughts were a whirl, this is bad. That was a very powerful wind technique and it was cast by someone capable of pushing him away. While I was using Charka to stick to the tree, it must have been Orochimaru, Naruto thought as he locked eyes with the predator that he sensed was looking at him. His eyes widened as yellow sclera along with a slitted pupil met his gaze. The snake's tongue slithered out, its forked end tasting the air for vibrations, heat and various other things to take stock of the prey it had within its sights. Naruto jumped to the side as the snake's mouth opened, its fangs, which were almost as large as Naruto himself, bared as it lunged directly where Naruto had been moments ago. You're big but I fought bigger, Naruto said. It seems as if the snake had heard him as it hissed harder and charged at him. Naruto smirked, proud of himself. He was able to dodge a snake's attack, but he missed the snake's tail coming around behind him and wrapping him up as the snake turned its massive head to face him. Naruto almost swore the snake smirked before opening its mouth and engulfing its own tail in its mouth, swallowing him down its own throat. Anyone watching from outside would see a sizable bulge in the snake's throat as Naruto's body descended past its throat and into the belly of the giant snake. The snake seemed to be confused as its pleased expression went to a wide-eyed look when the snake heard. Shinra Tensei, almighty push, Naruto shouted, blowing the snake up. Bloods, guts and other organ flew everywhere while he had a smirk on his face. I always wanted to kill someone like that, Naruto said. Naruto uses his Rinnegan to track down the strong Charka source. Almost 2 minutes later, Naruto looked to the north where he had sensed Orochimaru and Sasuke's chakra. He narrowed his eyes as he began to jump towards the place he had sensed. He never noticed the snake's bloodied mess disappear in a puff of smoke. 20 minutes later. Naruto arrived on a branch overlooking his teammate Sasuke fighting a grass nin. With Orochimaru and Sasuke. Kukuku. How selfish of you, Orochimaru mocked. She sacrificed herself to let you escape and now you are wasting her sacrifice. Shut up. Sasuke yelled, activating his Sharingan. Oh? The Sannin exclaimed. Looks like you are ready to fight. Very well then, come. Pain. Gakakyu no Jutsu. Sasuke threw fireball at his opponent, which he easily dodged. Oh, come on. Is that all you have? Orochimaru mocked again. Sasuke gritted his teeth and attacked head-on, using Taijutsu. Snake Master smirked, blocking all of Uchiha's strikes swiftly. Nah, you can't win like that. He stated, delivering mighty spinning heel kick to Sasuke's ribsage. Ah. Uchiha gasped as his back hit a tree. He then spat some blood and glared at his enemy. I knew I couldn't win against you from the beginning. The genin said and glanced at Sakura. But I can't leave her. Orochimaru grinned evilly. Win against me? He asked in mock confusion. No, I did not mean me when I spoke about winning. Then who did you mean? Sannin's grin widened. Perhaps you heard the name Itachi Uchiha. Sasuke's eyes burned with rage immediately. What do you know about him? TSK, TSK, TSKWOULDN backquote you like to know. Snake Man stated. But the most important thing is at your current level he will crush you like a bug. Sasuke clenched his fist hard enough to draw blood. How do you know that? Fukuku I fought him. The Sannin replied. Du Sharingan eyes widened. You? Yes me. Orochimaru towered over the Uchiha. So what do you want from me? Sasuke asked. From you Orochimaru asked back. Nothing I just wanted to help you in your quest. He stated. I know where Itachi is and even what his main goal is, even if I tell you all of it now, you won't do a shit to him. In fact, he'll simply dispose of you and… Cut the crap. Uchiha spat. What are you proposing? Fukuku straight to the point, I like it. The Sannin replied. What I'm proposing is this. I'll give you a taste of my power and give you some time to test it. When we meet next time, you must have an answer. Answer to what? Sasuke asked. Are you ready to leave this useless village behind to pursue your dream? The Sannin replied. Sasuke's eyes widened. He's asking me to defect, but he will give me power to defeat him. Very well, raven-haired teen nodded. Give me your power. Fukuku as you wish. The Sannin said. With that Orochimaru's neck extended. His head moved forward to bite Sasuke on the neck. Banshmtenin, universal pull, and Sasuke was forced out of his hand and drop in front of Naruto. What do you think you are doing? You are about to abandon your village for power. Naruto said while looking at the grass ninja warily acting as if he didn't backquote who the grass nin was. I'm a bit disappointed. Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura looked up, Sakura look of hope in her eyes and Sasuke with dread as he kept an eye on the odd woman in front of him. Naruto, mind your own business. Sasuke shouted. The woman on the branch chuckled, so, you defeated that giant snake did you Naruto-kun? The Kunoichi said with mirth in her voice. You call that snake I fought big, Naruto said as his Rinnegan blazing. So you do have it Naruto-kun, how interesting, I can't wait to take them from you. Orochimaru thought Kuku you are so funny, that what I like about you. Naruto said nothing as he ran through some hand sign which drawing the ninja's attention onto himself, then he stops at a rat sign, you should stop picking on the weak and try taking on the strong. Naruto said as his mind trying desperately to figure out a way that they could survive this encounter as he saw Sasuke's Sharingan deactivate. Water release. Swordfish bullet Naruto shouted as a giant swordfish crash where the nin was standing. Sasuke grit his teeth as he turned to Naruto. You idiot. He yelled, do you even understand the situation we are in? He said. Naruto reached out and smacked Sasuke's head with a backhanded strike, sending him to his knees as he spit out blood from the red handprint on his face. What was that for? Sasuke yelled. Naruto's cold eyes returned, realizing he needed to be completely serious to even attempt to survive this. I don't think you understand Sasuke, he only want your body. He said, his voice lacking emotion it had just exposed. Sakura's eyes widened and Sasuke stared, transfixed as Naruto stood to his full. The grass nin bit her thumb and slid her bleeding thumb down her tattoo, so the blood crossed the end of the tail in 2 concentric circles and through the dot before removing her thumb and speaking, Kuchiyas no jutsu. She said as a burst of smoke covered her. There was no escape or hope against this person without help from the top Anbu teams within Konoha. His bloodline registered the large snake appearing before him, but his only thought was centered around the name of their opponent. He swallowed heavily as he resolved to attempt to get his teammates out of here along with himself, at least with their lives. His eyes refocused just as the large snake moved, faster than he could see and smashed its tail against him, Sasuke having jumped to another branch. Naruto grunted as he felt himself being thrown through the trunk of the tree he was on and slamming harshly into the trunk of the next tree, a few feet away. He coughed up blood as he felt some of his ribs bruise from the abuse they took, then a puff and a log appear. The Kunoichi's eyes widened as she viewed Naruto's way of evasion before they glinted with a hint of amusement. Kurumu roared, Naruto-kun, be careful when you fight this guy. It's going to take all the power you have just to survive. Naruto ran through some hand sign water release. Twin dragon bullet as the dragon with 2 head rushes to the grass nin. The Kusa nin turned to see the jutsu and dodged it with a smirk on her face. Did you really expect that to work? She asked with a smirk. No, Naruto said. A second later he was behind her Nova release. Nova palm as he grabs Kusa nin head with his palm melting it. Then heard fire style. Fireball jutsu. A huge fireball shot at Naruto enveloped him in fire. The nin stood across from the blaze. He wasn't as special as he though grass nin thought. Then he noticed Sakura and Sasuke on a branch just a bit below them. He was about to calm his prize when he saw a Rhino Dome in the fire. Earth release. Rhino Dome. Man, that was close, you almost caught me, Naruto said with not a scratch on him. The Kusanin's eyes widened for a brief second, then returned to normal, and a dark smirk crossed his face for a quick second. She then reached for her face and then peeled off her face, revealing that she was in fact male. "Clever boy," Orochimaru hissed, "it seems like you earned your name, but let's see if you've earned your rank in the bingo book." With that, the snake man charged at Naruto with a swinging punch. Naruto ducked to the side, but was caught in the stomach with a knee that sent him flying backwards and into a tree. The Naruto then whipped out sword. The snake Sannin avoided the first few slash, but was surprised when the Naruto in front of him puff away and appear behind him, focusing his chakra into his feet. The snake man jumped avoiding the foot, but it was too late, he was sent flying crashing into the trees. Naruto then walked over to them. "You guys okay?" Naruto asked. "Yeah," Sakura said, "we're fine. I think we should get out of here before that white pedophile weirdo wakes up." Orochimaru then realized that Naruto got distracted again. He responded by going through hand signs and calling out, "Wind style. Great tornado." Naruto didn't react in time and was blasted into the side of a tree with a blast of smoke, splinters, and bark. The white pedophile weirdo burst from the ground and his neck extended and bit Sasuke on the neck. The man then sank his teeth into Sasuke's neck. The young Uchiha screamed in pain. "What did you do to him?" Sakura yelled as she heard her teammate screams. "Just a little present," Orochimaru said with a nasty smirk, "soon he'll seek me out for power." Sakura growled, then charged angrily at the snake Sannin. The snake didn't move since he figured this girl was a fangirl and won't be much of a threat, and he was right, he didn't even feel the punch. He then backhanded her, which knocked her out, then he felt a fist hit him. Earth release. Rock fist Naruto Shitethan, he chased after him. "I'll kill you." Orochimaru roared as he rose up from the ground and let out a low snarl as he charged at Naruto. But teammate were hiding. They watched in fear. It was thanks to their teamwork that the team managed to avoid others so far. What they were seeing was a first-hand experience to what the Sand Ninja were capable of. Arga Rain Ninja fell towards to the floor as he watched his teammates being killed by their own rain of senbons. "Is that all you got?" Temari spoke without essence in his voice. The Rain Ninja fell afraid as he crawled away from the red-haired ninja. "Wow, what are you?" Temari gave no response as her gourd, which was open, gathered up sand and it started to wither towards the ninja, who screamed and moved back in fear. Irina and Kankuro watched on with sympathy for the man as they saw the ninja then get wrapped in sand. "Ah! Ah!" The Rain Ninja screamed in fear as then was encased in sand, only his head remained. Temari then raised her right hand and then enacted her finishing move, Sabaku kick, sand binding coffin. The sand then managed to squash his insides, killing him in the process as sand rained in the area which contained blood. Hinata trembled in fear as she never saw a person get killed like that. She was whimpering, but Shino held her and tried to control her composure. Hiba froze in fear as Akamaru didn't even whimper. Once the deed was done, Kankuro went to pick up the scroll. "Garina, Temari, we found our scroll." Garina just watched Temari because although she's seen this many times she still felt sad for her big sister. Kankuro brought out the extra earth scroll they had. "What shall we do with this?" Temari ignored him as he sensed the people behind him. "Temari, let's go." Garina noticed as well and wanted to go straight away. "Yeah, we already have our scroll and we might see more opponents around tower." Kankuro agreed with Garina. Temari then looked at both his brother and sister and then raised her hand, which gathered up sand. Teammate noticed that they were caught. "Shit, he found us." Kiba sweated as he clenched his fists. Hinata was shaking while Shino was ready for battle. "Temari, please," Garina pleaded. Silence ensued as seconds felt like hours for teammate. Temari then relented and then walked off. Kankuro and Garina looked at each other and sighed. Kankuro then walked after his sister as he disposed the extra earth scroll he had. Garina then looked at teammate who were hiding and then she smiled at them, then walked off. Teammate then let out their breaths once the sand team left. "They are dangerous," Shino spoke as he got rid of his fear. Hinata nodded. Kiba agreed as he then saw a scroll a feet away from them. "Look, they left one scroll." Kiba ordered Akamaru, who jumped and took the scroll and ran back to them. "What scroll is it?" Shino watched Kiba as he inspected the scroll. His eyes went wide. It was an earth scroll and realization hit them. If the sand ninjas were looking for a heaven scroll and the rain ninjas weren't there, then let's go quickly, Shino ordered as he wanted to leave right away. "Yes, I don't want to see them again," Kiba agreed as then teammate then ran to the tower. "Back with Naruto." "Snake Taj Ashu," Orochimaru shouted, shooting several snakes from his arm. "Shit!" Naruto exclaimed, hiding behind a tree. "You can't hide from me," one of the Sannin stated. "Who said I was trying to hide?" Naruto replied as he pulled out his sword from off of his back, then green energy started coming off it, slashing at him. "Oh, the world's strongest slash. A pretty advanced technique for your age," Sannin stated. "You have to be commended, but it won't be enough to defeat me." "Damn." Naruto cursed. Orochimaru was simply too fast for him to hit. Ah. Naruto coughed out blood as Orochimaru punched him in the gut. You are very skilled for a genin. Orochimaru admitted. Come with me, and I will give you more power than you can imagine. Naruto glared at him. Never as his eyes then turned red, with slits instead of Rinnegan. I'll tear you apart. As he lunged at him. Wow, he became faster. Orochimaru said, dodging his punches. But not fast enough. He then grabbed Naruto's wrist and threw him into a tree, pinning red-haired boy by the throat afterwards. Forgive me Kur-chan, but I have to use the jutsu, Naruto said. No, Kurumu didn't get to finish as Naruto cut her off as his eyes morphed to the combination Sharingan and Rinnegan, then blood came out of his eyes. Nova release. Nova armor as his body begun to cover with the Nova, forcing Orochimaru to let go. Damn, that would have melted my hands off if it had touched me, Orochimaru thought. Naruto begun to walk towards him and every step Naruto took the ground beneath his feet melt. Seeing this, Orochimaru got scared until he saw that Naruto jutsu was wearing off. He could see the second and 3rd degree burns on Naruto's body. Kuku, it seems jutsu had harsh side effect, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru said as he took out his sword and appeared behind and swing it, but Naruto was able to dodge, but not fully as it caught him on his back. Why, you are very strong after all the fighting, and that jutsu you just used, you still have enough strength to dodge my attack, Orochimaru said as he licked Naruto's blood of his sword. Failing to see the smirk on Naruto's face, then Naruto started drawing some more chakra from Kurumu when something crashed into his stomach. Baju Fuin. And Naruto screamed in pain when Orochimaru slammed his hand in his stomach. Now we can't have you get any stronger on me again, now for my gift to you, Naruto-kun, said Orochimaru as he walks toward Naruto. Naruto was tried to get up, but he couldn't, and as Orochimaru was about to bite Naruto, someone kicked him in the face, sending him flying into the trees. The Anbu turned around towards Naruto, showing off the yellow eyes. Flashback. As the attack was about to hit Naruto, a gentle head pushed him away and took the attack for him. When look around, it was Kushina with a Chidori through her chest. She kicked him away, then 10 more rude Anbu came out of nowhere, surround her. Kushina tried to fight all of them until a sword pierced her chest and she fell to the ground. Mom, Naruto shout, running towards her with blind rage when something pierced his leg and shoulder and fell to the ground. I'm not strong enough, this where I die, as the Anbu came in for the kill him. A person with yellow eyes appeared between them. The last thing Naruto heard was kuku before darkness take over him. Flashback. So you are the person that saved me from the Anbu 2 years, Naruto asked. Yes, I am, replied the Anbu. But why you a rude Anbu you supposed to capture me, Naruto? Because I like you and no, I am not a rude agent, the Anbu replied. Then who are you, Naruto asked. My name is Rina, your bodyguard who was chosen to protect you, and it is nice to finally meet you face to face, Rina said as she took off her mask and cloak to reveal a beautiful woman, long black hair, nice hourglass shape, 5ft6, long shapely legs, cup freest in something similar to what Anko was wearing. As Naruto was about to ask some question, Orochimaru appeared and he was very pissed. How dare you interrupt my fun, and who are you, Orochimaru roared. She then turned around and revealed herself to him. I hurt can believe my father doesn remember me, Rina said. Cliffhanger, no Judas. Naruto bloodline. Rinnegan from his mother family. Senshin, absorption from father. Naruto's bloodline limits absorbed. Sharingan from Shisui Uchiha. Naruto weapons. The destroyer it wrap up and bandaged it blade hasn't been revealed yet, at about 5ft6 long. Ability has the power to destroy Charka coil forever. The Red Death, the sword that look like Hawkeye's sword but is a red blade. Ability same as Hawkeye, 1 in 1 piece. Judas list. Nova release. Nova armor SS rank Kinjidus, it allows the user body to be covered by Nova, a substance that is 10 times stronger than acid and lava put together. Advantage. When this justice is in effect, nothing can touch you, and I mean nothing. It melts everything it touches. Disadvantage. It burns you for every second the Judas is in effect and can't kill Deepu. It melts everything it touches. Chapter end. Alright, that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments section how was the story, and also don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will meet you in another video. Peace out.